Hey, what's up? This is Shaheel. Apple's WWDC got over, and as always, there are many new things that they announced. Some hardware and some software. Among the hardware, the most interesting piece of tech that they put out was a $3,500 AR/VR headset, the Apple Vision Pro. So in this video, I'll be going through the features of the Apple Vision Pro, some of my thoughts and some questions that I have. But first of all, we'll have to understand a few things to get started. This is a brand new product segment for Apple and in the general tech space. We haven't seen a lot of other products like this one other than the Meta Quest Pro, so it's really hard to make a direct comparison of the Apple Vision Pro to another product. With that said, the first thing that you'd be wondering is, what is this thing? Well, this is something that can be called an AR/VR headset. It's a virtual reality headset with augmented reality functions. And of course, since Apple has to name everything that they put out, they're calling this spatial computing. So here's a quick look at the features and the design of the Apple Vision Pro. The headset has a glass front with an outward-facing display. More on that later. There are a set of cameras on the bottom for detecting gesture controls and also capturing 3D content. Again, more on that later. There's a crown on top that you can use to control how much of the real-world content that you want to see. Okay, so that outward-facing display, it'll actually show a captured image of your eye to other people so that it looks translucent even though it's not. And for the audio, there are audio ports on the side with spatial audio support. And the actual AR content that you see are powered by two highly pixel dense OLED displays, each one close to 4K resolution. This time, Apple has partnered with Zeiss to make prescription lenses to go inside the headset so that people with prescription glasses can actually see the best image possible. And as for controls, there are no additional accessories required to operate this. Your eyes, hands, and voice is all that you need. The product constantly tracks your eyes and precisely points at the touch target, and you could just tap your fingers together to make a click or drag something on screen. For the silicon, they have the Apple M2 inside and a new series of chipset named Apple R. And as for the first gen chipset, they have the Apple R1 inside this product. Also, there are vents on the top and the bottom in case if the product gets hot for air circulation. And this whole setup is backed by a new operating system that they made just for this, named Vision OS. And of course, that plugs into the Apple ecosystem as it should. And while we're talking about new things, there's a new biometric system in the chat. Apple made this new thing called Optic ID, which is basically iris scanning. It's usable everywhere Face ID was usable. So that's places like Apple Pay, App Store, and of course, locking your device. Okay, so that was quite a few new things in a new product of a new product segment. So the next question would be, what is it actually used for? Well, Apple themselves in the presentation have actually mentioned a few use cases where the Vision Pro would come in handy. And that could be a whole variety of things. First of all, the media consumption experience is gonna be massive. Like, imagine being able to use a product and immerse yourself while watching a movie or something, like you're in a theater. And of course, that in itself could be a whole thing. And the spatial audio setup would come in clutch right there. And another use case is like work-related purposes, specifically multitasking. Because now you have an even bigger landscape for doing things, there is lots of potential for multitaskers. Like, you could open up multiple windows and work between them, and navigation is also far easier with eye control and gestures. Apple in their presentation had shown this thing where if you have a Mac, you could look at it with the Vision Pro and the contents of the Mac would move to a bigger AR landscape. Plus me myself, I could see that being a thing, and it's gonna be awesome if you could make use of it. But those were just some things that it could do now, as in with the first-party Apple applications. Now, because of the fact that Apple has opened up the API for third-party developers, we could wait and watch as other apps adapt to the Vision Pro and what other people make use of it. So hopefully there'll be a whole bunch of apps that could make use of this tech when the product comes out early next year. But those were the features of the Vision Pro, and now I would like to share some of my opinions on what I think about this product. The first thing is the price. It's like $3,500 at the time of announcement, and that's not just expensive for an AR/VR headset or an Apple product, or even a first-gen product, but for any product. So I think that when it comes out early next year, it's going to be meant for a really niche, like specific audience that Apple wants to test this product on. And if it goes mainstream, as in if it is a success, Apple might release a cheaper version of this. At least that's what I'd like to think. Which brings me to my next point, and that is the naming of this product. Apple calls this the Vision Pro. The Vision part is okay, but the Pro part, like, does it mean that there's a cheaper non-Pro version coming out, or is it just meant to be an exclusively for pros only type of product? I don't think so, but we don't know any of that. And another thing is that Apple as a brand does not experiment with a lot of new things. They just wait and watch while the rest of the industry try and fail doing different things. And when something does work, they take that product and they just transform it into an Apple ecosystem integratable, brilliantly designed product, and then they release it. And of course make lots of money from that, but that's beside the point. Or there are other times when they do new things that others haven't, and almost always single-handedly becomes the leaders in that product segment. I mean, just take a look at different products in history, like the iPhone, the Apple Watch, AirPods, and lots of many other products. So you get my point. Finally, there's the power situation. So if you want to use it for unlimited amount of times, you could use the wall adapter and you could use for as long as you want. But in case if you want to use it remotely, there's a battery solution that they give you which lasts for no more than 2 hours. Isn't that a bit on the lower side though? I mean, in their presentation, Apple had shown a demo for someone watching a movie on an airplane, and I mean, most movies are longer than 2 hours, so like, what do you do then? Not to mention, we don't really know how accurate that 2-hour figure is. So I think all that we can do right now is just wait and watch when the product comes out. So that's pretty much what I think about the Apple Vision Pro. And I know that I'm really late to the game in making this video, but I thought it was going to be worth it to make a video to share my thoughts on Apple Vision Pro for the people who watch this channel. I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see where this whole spatial computing thing is going to go in a few years from now. But until then, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, give me a sub to the channel and check out other videos that I have made. Also make sure to comment and share the video with people who you might think would like this type of content. Until we meet the next time, goodbye.